Hello, I am Dr. Bobby Hayes Goodrum, and welcome to the District Spotlight. Today, I'm super excited to have with us two of our phenomenal elementary school principals to talk about the return to learn. As you know, we have had a hybrid option for our elementary students since January 11th, and there are challenges, but it's been great to see the students in the classrooms every day. So now, if we could please, can I have Mr. Christopher O'Brien and Miss Rhonda Henry introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Christopher O'Brien. I am the principal at Wood Creek Elementary. Been here since 2014. This is my 23rd year in the district. Before Wood Creek, I worked at Harrison High School as a principal and assistant principal, taught at Harrison High School, and also taught English at Power Upper Elementary at that time. I love being in the district. I live in the community. My kids go to Farmington STEAM. So I'm excited to be here and be interviewed.
Thank you, Chris.
Hello, my name is Rhonda Henry. I am the principal at Longacre Elementary, and I've been in the district since 2008. And like Mr. O'Brien, I have been in education for 23 years, serving in many different capacities. At Longacre, I was a instructional consultation, team facilitator, and student support coordinator for years before I became the principal. Before that, I was in Romulus Community Schools, where I served as an assistant principal.
Thank you so much, Rhonda. All right, well, let's get started. Are you guys ready to sit on the hot seat for a minute?
Yes.
All right. This is our first question. So you've had a few weeks. This is the third week back, correct?
Yes.
So as you reflect on the elementary transition to in-person learning, what has been the most rewarding, the most challenging, and the biggest surprise?
So I can say I'll start with the most rewarding. I find the most rewarding is seeing how everyone has come together to best serve our students and our community. So our staff, our teachers, our administrators, our community members, parents, students, how everyone has risen to the occasion. There's been so many different challenges and changes that we have all gone through, and it just is very rewarding for me. And one of the reasons why I enjoy coming to work every day is just seeing the teamwork and the synergy of all of our staff.
I would say the most rewarding thing is that first day seeing kids get out of their parents' cars with those smiles. And you don't always see it because, of course, the mask is on, but you can tell that they're there. And then when they leave, they're happy. So they're happy to come to school. They're happy to leave. Our schools finally felt like school again with those little people being in our building and being happy. So I think that's the most rewarding thing, seeing the parents happy and seeing the kids happy to be back in school and getting back to some sort of sense of normalcy.
Definitely. And I actually happened to be at Wood Creek as students were coming in on January 11th. And one thing that was so unusual was that it was January and students were coming in and, people were asking them, do you know where your classroom is? And it just really, at that point, dawned on me that they had not been in their school buildings since March of 2020. So, but yes, I agree. It was so wonderful to see all of their smiling faces. Everyone looked so excited. That was great. What about challenges?
I would say that biggest challenge has been making sure we follow all the protocols and not being so, you don't want to be so rule oriented that it's not comfortable for anybody. We're talking about for parents and for students, but making sure we keep everyone safe. I think all of us as elementary principals, the teachers, the staff, they really take it seriously. So that's been the biggest challenge. For example, when a kid had a cough and maybe missed school in the past before COVID, it wasn't a big deal. They missed for a couple of days. Now we have to follow procedures. And so sometimes those can be a little irritating for parents, but they want to keep everyone safe. We want to keep everyone safe. So that's probably the biggest challenge I've noticed.
Yeah, and in addition to that, what Mr. O'Brien said, I think another challenge has been to meet the needs of all of our students and families. We have families who preferred for their child to come back in person, but also we need to be respectful for those who are staying at home and continuing with remote learning. And so it's, we want to create the best learning environment for all of our students, And our teachers are working incredibly hard and doing both of those instructional models for both of our in-person students and our remote students in the best way that they can. And so knowing that it's hard to create a win-win in this situation, but trying to get through those challenges every day, I think has been something that when I reflect on has been a challenge.
Yes, definitely. What about any surprises? Has anything surprised you during this transition period?
I'd say one of the biggest surprises for me has just been the students' adaptability. And we've had so many different schedules, this school year for students and families and teachers, and they have adapted. The students have risen to the occasion every single time. And when I think about that, I mean, it shouldn't come as a surprise because students are resilient, children are resilient, but I think it really is because our teachers have meaningful relationships with our students. They have been there for them. They tell them, you're going to be okay. This is temporary. We're learning. They're celebrating their successes. And our kids that are just really showing that growth mindset. And that's been a nice surprise.
I would definitely echo what Rhonda said. I have been impressed with how flexible families, the parents, the students, and our teachers have been. I mean, with COVID, everything is a roller coaster. What is an issue today may not be an issue tomorrow, and there may be new issues. But that first day, just seeing parents adjusting to the new arrival and dismissal procedures, not complaining, adjusting to it. Students wearing masks. I think our students have done a great job in sort of knowing to wear masks, to social distance. That has surprised me. There haven't been many conversations about having to do those things. And our teachers have been amazing. The relationships that they've built with these families, with their students, is just amazing. And that's really what's made the students transition to school, whether it's in person or those who've chosen to stay remote. It's made it easier because of those strong relationships with our teachers who have truly been amazing.
Yeah. They really have been. We would not have been able to pull, this off at any degree without our very dedicated, hardworking, fantastic teachers that we have in our district, or all of our staff in the district. Our teachers, our paraprofessionals, the bus drivers, the custodial team, the admin, everyone worked together to make this a possibility. So that's great. All right, so we're going to be positive. We know that this pandemic is going to end at some point. We will get through this and it will be over at some point. Are there any processes or systems or procedures that you think you might keep even when we're out of the pandemic?
I think a big one is the use of digital technology like Zoom or Google Meets or Microsoft Teams, where you can video conference. I didn't use it much before, but obviously it's become a way of life, even with your family. So I think it gives us flexibility. If a parent wants to meet with you in person, maybe after COVID, they may not be able to come to school. You can do a video conference. Parent-teacher conferences, now there's flexibility with scheduling because you can use it. So I think the video technology will allow us to be more flexible, especially when they want to talk to us.
Thank you. Exactly. That's a great answer. How about you, Rhonda? Anything?
And I agree with Chris about the technology and just how far we've come with personalized learning and really getting to know students technology wise and give feedback. I also think, our district, we have prioritized social emotional learning. I think in the pandemic, it's really come to the forefront. And I think a system that's been enhanced is prioritizing the social emotional well-being of our students. And I see that moving forward, that we will continue with those check-ins daily, our morning meetings, which we've always had in place. I just really feel like that's been enhanced. That's a system that has really been enhanced during the pandemic.
I agree. And not only for our teachers as they work with our students, but for our teachers as they work with other teachers, for administrators as they work with other administrators as they work with teachers. We all, I think, are being very intentional about being aware of how someone is doing socially and emotionally, because this is a really hard time for everybody. I can't think of anybody who hasn't been touched upon this. Okay, so last question, because I don't want to keep you all day. I know that you guys have a very busy day and you have students that you need to get to. But what have been some highlights from the first 3 weeks of the elementary hybrid schedule?
For me, I'm echoing a little bit what Chris said, seeing students running out of their cars to the school. Their eyes are smiling because we can't see their faces. Families cheering as they're dropping off, and extended family members dropping students off and picking up, and just everyone coming together. And then also our remote students, having that consistency with their teacher and keeping them engaged, doing both. It as well as we can has really been a highlight.
Yeah, I agree with Rhonda. And I would say all of that sort of makes us feel like we're getting closer to what's normal.
Yeah.
It'll be a year in March. I remember the date very vividly, March 13th, our last day in session. And I think having our students back in person, even though, we're wearing masks, we're social distancing, it's different. But it gets us to feel like we can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
You hear a lot of times on TV, COVID fatigue. Well, we all have it. We all want to get back to normalcy. This is allowing us to see it. And especially for our kids, I feel so badly for our students because they don't have the connection to the building, to the staff, to each other that they normally would have. But you can see now that they're beginning to get that. And over time, hopefully, we'll be able to just be back to where we were before, and probably, hopefully, even better.
Okay, well, thank you, Chris and Rhonda. Do either of you have anything that you would like to say in closing? Anything I didn't ask you that you wanted me to ask you about?
No, thank you for having us here.
Oh, you're very welcome. And thank you for the amazing job that you all have done in your buildings. And again, been in all the elementary buildings, and it just fills my heart up to see the students in the classroom. Everyone, again, in our district has worked extraordinarily hard to pull this together. So, all right. Thank you for being here. I'll let you get back to work, and everybody else, we'll see you soon. Thank you for tuning in.